Hello and welcome to another edition of Sports Reports. It's been a busy weekend of sport on the rock, with rowing, cricket and athletics being the first local sports to hold their annual National Day tournaments. We will take a look at them later on, together with a roundup of the rest of Gibraltar's sporting action, both on and off the rock. But first, let's take a look at how this year's NatWest Triathlon turned out. The Gibraltar Triathlon Association couldn't have asked for a better way to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the NatWest Gibraltar Triathlon. 155 athletes, including 15 teams and 25 youngsters under the age of 13, took part across 11 different categories. It was a very early start on Sunday morning, with the first race scheduled for a 9 o'clock start, and with the closure of Western Beach on Saturday, the GTA was still awaiting the go-ahead by 8:30. which I'm sure added to the stress for the organisers. Eventually, just before 8:45, the green light was given and the event could get underway. The first group to plunge themselves into the icy waters of Western Beach were the youngest of the lot, the under-10s. They lined up on the shore and at the sound of the hooter raced into the sea to complete their 50-metre swim before making the rather long transition to the cycling area on the western half of the runway, where they cycled 1.5 kilometres, followed by a 300-metre run to the Victoria Stadium, entering via the Cepsa entrance. The first boy to cross the finish line was Zach Cameron, who recorded a very impressive time of 7 minutes 59 seconds, just beating the 8-minute mark. In second place, just 10 seconds behind Zach, was Luis Frendel, and in third was Julian Viñales, a further 2 seconds adrift. In the under-10 girls category, first place went to Kaya Cameron, who was the only girl to beat the 10-minute mark with a time of 9 minutes flat. Hannah Caras Altas was in second with a time of 11 minutes 14 seconds, with Sophie Frendo in third, clocking a time of 11 minutes 40 seconds. The next race was that of the 11 to 13-year-olds. The distances for all three disciplines were doubled for this older group, which meant that they completed a 100-metre swim, a 3-kilometre cycle and a 600-metre run. There was just a single female entry in the form of Kate McCulloch, so she automatically took first place in the girls' event, but her time of 12 minutes and 44 seconds was good enough to see her finish third amongst the boys. In the 11 to 13 boys category, it was Daniel Yeo who finished first with an impressive time of 12 minutes 13 seconds, a whole 30 seconds ahead of second placed Jeremy McGuinness. whilst Angel de la Vega finished in third in a time of 13 minutes flat. It was then time for the main event of the day, the Senior NatWest Gibraltar Triathlon. Over 80 lined up at the start, including individual men, women and the swimmers of the relay teams. This year, for the first time, there were two team events, the usual mixed team event for everyone, and a new corporate relay event for locally established companies to compete against each other. The venue of the event may have changed 2 years ago, but the distances of the three disciplines have remained the same since the beginning. Things started off with a 300-meter swim at Western Beach, followed by 6 laps of the western end of the airfield, which made up the 10-kilometer cycle of the triathlon. To finish things off, a 2-kilometer run from the airfield round Glacis Estate and back to the Cepsa entrance of the stadium for the finish on the track. It was impressive to see so many swimmers lined up on the beach, and as they ran into the water and began their swim, the noise of splashes just got louder and louder. The field eventually spread out as the swim went on, with the med canoeists watching on closely in case any swimmers required their assistance. Soon enough, the first swimmers were leaving the water and making their way to the transition area to hop on the bike or tag their teammates. It's not uncommon to see cyclists crash on the airfield at the annual triathlon, and this year was no exception. Although I only picked up on the single crash, which happened to one of the first cyclists on the runway, and luckily was not a serious incident. The cycle is normally the part of the triathlon that sees most movement of positions, due to the high speeds achieved by some of the triathletes. The first 3 athletes to start the run belonged to teams, as was depicted by the red ID numbers on their chest and back, as opposed to the individual triathletes who wore white numbers. The first individual to start his run was José Luis Sánchez Lago, with Laureano Mesa in second place. Sonia Gomar Hoyos was the first female to start her run. Most spectators then moved to the Cepsa stands at the Victoria Stadium to watch their preferred athletes finish the tough challenge. The first athlete to cross the line belonged to Team Campamento, who essentially took the mixed relay title. Amazingly, the next athlete to cross the line was the first individual male, in the form of Laureano Mesa, who had apparently overtaken José Luis Sánchez Lago during the run. So in the end, the results look like this. In the men's senior category, first place went to Laureano Mesa with a time of 28 minutes 52 seconds, followed by 17-year-old José Luis Sánchez Lago in second with a time of 30 minutes 13 seconds, and José García Lois in third with a time of 30 minutes 45 seconds. José Luis also took first place in the under-18 males category, whilst José García took first in the veterans race. In the senior ladies race, it was Sonia Gomar Hoyos who took the title with a time of 32 minutes 46 seconds, ahead of local athlete Stephanie Sheriff, who finished in a time of 35 minutes 26 seconds. In third was Maria Rodriguez Galán, who also won the ladies veteran event, with her time of 35 minutes 30 seconds. The mixed relay was won by Team Campamento in a time of 26 minutes 51 seconds. In second place was Team La Línea with a time of 29 minutes 12 seconds, just 18 seconds ahead of third place Los Macizos. In the corporate relay challenge, St. Minver Terminators finished first in 38 minutes 20 seconds, a mere 6 seconds ahead of Investors Europe. In third place was St. Minver Chuck Norris with a time of 39 minutes 51 seconds. A great 10th anniversary event for the GTA, with the largest attendance in the history of Gibraltar triathlons, and I'm sure the numbers will be back next year. After the presentation of trophies to the winners, I caught up with Chris Walker of the Gibraltar Triathlon Association to get his views on the day's event.
Well, it's been a huge event. We knew that we were going to have record entries this year, and that's how it's turned out. We've had a great day. The Western Beach was opened at 8 o'clock this morning, just in time, so we were able to hold the event as scheduled. We've had more entries than ever this year. I think we've had over 80 individual entries, about 15 relay teams, and about 30 children. So overall, we're about 130, 140 participants this morning.
And I believe yesterday Western Beach was closed due to pollution. Was that a problem before the start, or were you looking into alternative arrangements?
We'd been in contact with the Environmental Agency right from Friday, and with government, and we were quite confident that as long as it didn't rain again, which fortunately it didn't, that the beach would be open today. We had a backup plan in place, but fortunately we didn't need to do it.
And this is the second year I believe it's been done at Western Beach, moving over from Eastern Beach. Is Western Beach a venue to stay then?
Yes, I think so. I think the competitors, the feedback we're getting is that they're enjoying the swim at Western Beach. The cycle on the runway is brilliant, but certainly the run and the finish in the stadium is an improvement on where we were at Eastern Beach.
And like you mentioned, we've had record numbers this year, I believe over 100 entries in total. What do you account this to? Has it been a matter of PR work from the association, or have people just heard about it through word of mouth?
I think it's a bit of both, but certainly social media has played a great part, and we've had our own Facebook page this year, and that's gone a long way to getting more entries in. And also, I think the sport of triathlon is getting a lot more coverage on TV at the moment, with the London Olympics coming up, GB having a really strong squad, and obviously we've got more people racing now regularly in Spain as well with the Hercules Triathlon Club. So I think it's a number of things, but we're delighted with the increase. I think we've now sort of reached the limit that we can cope with the facilities that we've got. So if we're going to take the event even further, we need to look at investing into some proper timing systems.
And there has been a substantial number of international competitors this year. Do you think that's perhaps because of the contacts made through Hercules Triathlon Club, or is that also through word of mouth and social media? Again,
it's a bit of both. I mean, we've been racing as Hercules now in Andalusia and all across Spain for the last 10 years. So yes, we've got an awful lot of contacts there. But let's not forget that the event is for novices, and it's for people to try out the sport rather than for the experienced triathletes. But it's great that we've got people from La Linea and further afield coming to try out the sport, and they may go on to other things. I mean, that's great. The more people that participate, the better it is for us, the more competition we have, and the greater the experience for everybody.
And like you said, it is about people who want to try out the triathlon for the first time. Also, we've seen many kids here today, the number of children growing every year. That's also good for the sport, obviously.
Yeah, that's a real focus for the Gibraltar Triathlon Association, to get the children involved. And we're really delighted with the increase that we've had year on year with the number of children participating. You just got to look at their faces coming out of the water, and you see what a great sport this is, and that it is for everybody. And I'm sure that people watching this on GBC are going to think, oh, I might give that a go next year. And I would wholeheartedly support that. It's a great event. It's one of the biggest sporting events that goes on in Gibraltar on an annual basis. We've got great support from the MOD, from Gibraltar government, from the Med Canoeists, from the Gibraltar Cadet Force, my committee, and numerous other helpers that help get this event on get it going. And it takes a huge amount of organising with 3 different sports going on all at the same time.
And now this is the event's in its 10th year. Throughout the past 10 years, it has grown substantially, and will you be looking to perhaps grow even more?
I think so. I mean, we've had some quite big years before, but nothing like this. And I think that looking at the success of this year's event, I can see it next year getting bigger. But if we're going to get bigger, we've got to get more investment, we've got to get more sponsorship, and we've got to invest in an electronic timing system so that we can get accurate timing results for everybody.
As part